Great. Good morning, everybody. It's Neil here again. So for those of you who don't know me, the minister at Kintore Parish Church. So I'm checking in with you again this morning, hopefully for not too long, as you probably want to go off to worship at 10 o'clock somewhere online. And just to say that we have a worship service set up online on our website, www.kintorekirk.org. It's a do-it-yourself worship service, so have a lot of fun with that. It's you'll see what I mean when you get there. There are prayers, instead of me just being a talking head reading the prayers for you, there are prayers for you to pray. You get to listen to the worship songs and sing along because the words are there, and I hope you have some fun with that. For now, I just wanted to check in with you and see how you're doing. Last week I spoke to you about the need to step away from it all and from this constant stream of information and change. And I hope that somehow you have had a chance to do that this week, that you've been able to just be away from it all and center yourselves and rediscover your center. This week, I want to chat to you a little bit more about emotions and see how your emotions are going, because this is quite a fraught time emotionally for many of us. And I thought I'd just say something about that. I want to urge you this morning to be gentle with your emotions and be gentle with others around you as well, especially those that you're trapped in a house with for the next however many weeks. So, how are the emotions? My parents both died when they were relatively young, and going through that experience of coping with their deaths, the thing that surprised me most was the range of emotions that I felt. I was expecting I'd be sad. I thought I might be angry, maybe bitter. There was guilty, perhaps numb even. I wasn't expecting the laughter. It was strange. My sister and I had to deal with our parents' affairs in the weeks following their deaths, and we spent a lot of time together, and we laughed a lot. We wept a lot, but we also laughed a lot. We got angry with one another. We stormed out the rooms at times. We hugged a lot. It was a strange range of emotions that we felt. And maybe you can recall similar experiences and ranges of emotions when you lost people that you loved and that were close to you. The reason I bring that up is because what we're going through at the moment is very much like a grief process. What the world is going through at the moment is an extreme situation in which we experience a sense of loss and a sense of dislocation. Our lives are put on hold, and our future plans and our future hopes are suddenly up for grabs. We have this tangible sense that we're not in control. We have no control over what's happening around us, so we feel disempowered. And this is exactly what one goes through when you have a bereavement. It's Palm Sunday today, and I've been feeling a little bit strange about that, because it seems a strange thing to be talking about Easter at the moment. And yet the more I've thought about it, the more I've come to the conclusion that the story of the Passion, of the Holy Week story, that last week of Jesus leading up to the cross, is precisely the sort of story we should be reading at the moment. It's a very helpful story for our time. I won't refer you to specific verses of the Bible this morning. It's the whole Passion narrative. It's that whole story of the last week of Jesus' life. And if you want to look it up, I went and did my homework. It's in all four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, from Matthew chapter 21 onwards, from Mark chapter 11 onwards, from Luke chapter 19 onwards, and from John chapter 12 onwards. So it's big chunks of the Gospels. I'm not suggesting you go and read them all straight away, but pick one and read the story. Have a look for the emotions that people are experiencing in that story. I think if you were a movie director or a stage director, you'd love this story because of all the range of intense emotions that one sees there. There's Mary, the intimacy of Mary as she washes Jesus' feet at Bethany. There's Peter, who's so passionate, I will stay with you, Jesus, all the time. And then the guilt that he feels when he lets Jesus down and denies that he knows him. The turmoil that Judas Iscariot goes through, the guilt that he feels when, and the confusion and the anger. And then, of course, there's the utter despair of Jesus' mother at the foot of the cross, and then the bewildered joy of the disciples at the news of the resurrection. So, notice the emotions and notice how the characters deal with those emotions. Now, this is important because they're going through an extreme situation, just as we are going through an extreme situation. And notice that the emotions that we feel in situations like this, the emotions are never either right or wrong. The emotions we feel are always just right. There's no right or wrong about it. Extreme situations evoke ultimate questions within us, and ultimate questions stir up extreme emotions. So the things I want to say to you this morning are, be gentle with yourself and be gentle with others. Initially, for me last week, I was gripped by fear and anxiety at all that was changing. And that manifested itself for me in a kind of nervous excitement. Oh, what is this going to be like? Almost a kind of almost a good kind of energy. And of course, gallows humor. You've all seen the memes and the funny things. I can't tell you how many people have sent me that little picture of ministers who are now baptizing children by those little squirty guns. There's a dad holding up the baby and there's a minister pointing a squirty gun at the baby to baptize it. All these sorts of jokes have been going around. But then this week, things suddenly got real very fast. I had the first bit of news that a friend of mine has passed away partly as a result of this, having contracted this virus. So, suddenly it's coming home very close. I had a conversation with a friend of mine over in New Zealand, and it was a heartbreaking conversation. His family are now facing potential financial ruin because of job loss and debts that still need to be paid. And my heart broke for this guy, And so suddenly I started feeling guilty that I'd been laughing about it and finding the whole thing funny earlier in the week. Be gentle with yourselves. You're feeling what you're feeling, and that's okay. It's what you do with those feelings that matters. They say the divorce rate spiked in Wuhan after the lockdown. Well, that might just be anecdotal, but I can believe that relationships are put under strain at a time like this. Because you see, we all have different emotions, and we all respond to grief in a different way. And I've seen this with families in the situation of a death and bereavement. I grieve in a particular way, and so I look across at you, and I see you grieving in a different way, and so I think, well, one of us must be wrong. And so I start saying to myself, well, maybe you don't take this seriously enough. Or I start feeling guilty, maybe I'm not taking this seriously enough. Whereas all that's actually happening is that we're dealing with the grief in different ways, and that's okay. It's okay to grieve differently. Not everybody at the foot of the cross experienced Jesus' death in the same way. No? And we don't experience our losses in this exactly the same way. So allow yourselves and those around you to grieve this moment, each in your own way. And the second thing I want to say, and I'm not going to dwell on this, but just to say that in saying that you should be gentle with others in their moment of grief is not the same as saying that you should put up with abuse. If the people you are with, if the person you are with is reacting in a way that is abusive towards you, for goodness sake, seek help. Phone me or phone one of the help agencies or phone the police if you need to. But saying that you need to be gentle with the way others grieve is not the same thing as saying that abuse is all right. Okay, I won't say more about that. Finally, I just want to say something about these ultimate questions which we tend to encounter at times like this. And it's absolutely right for us to be asking ultimate questions at a time like this. Why is this happening? Why is there suffering in the world in the first place? Where is God in all of this? All I want to say about this, and I really don't have time we don't have this time and space to go into this in great detail. I encourage you to be involved in studies where you can think about that more. But all I want to say is, first of all, it's important to get our theology right here. The first thing, perhaps the most important thing to say, is that God does not cause suffering. God is not sitting there in heaven with his finger hovering over a smite button on his computer, ready to smite us because we've done something wrong. It's not the way it works. And again, the story of Holy Week helps us here. What we see in the story of Holy Week is not God coming down, sending down angels from heaven as an army to come and destroy the world. What we see here is God in Christ entering into our pain and saying, how can I be with you in this time of suffering and pain? So the questions you should be asking, you should be looking around to say, where exactly is God in this situation? How is God helping us? How is God reaching out to us? How is God present with us? And beware of those who offer you simplistic answers at the moment, who say things like, well, you see, God is punishing us for A, B, or C. Or, don't worry, we'll be fine if we just believe. It's more complicated than that, so take time to wrestle with God about these things. The truly helpful, ultimate questions that this situation should be causing us to wrestle with, I believe, and this is not an exhaustive list, but these are the kinds of things I think we should be asking at the moment. First of all, what is the situation teaching me about the things and the people I value most? Have I been chasing after the wind? Or have I really, what is this bringing to light about what actually matters to me? Where can I see God at work in all of this? Where am I noticing signs of God's kingdom, even in the brokenness around us? And are there ways I will choose to live my life differently when all of this is over and things go back to normal, whatever normal happens to be? What is this changing within me, and how should it be changing me? And so in short and in conclusion, I just want to say, be gentle, folks. Be gentle with yourselves and be gentle with others. This is not easy. Nobody said it was going to be easy. That's how life is sometimes. Acknowledge the emotions that you're feeling. Name them if you can. And allow those around you to grieve in a way that is meaningful to them too. So that's really all. I've got a couple of things I want to, announcements, because what would church be without intimations? So let me just tell you about a couple of things. In a few minutes at 10 o'clock, hopefully, a worship service will go online on our website. And as I say, it's a participatory thing. You can do it at home. You can read the prayers aloud with your family. Sing the songs. There are YouTube links to the songs that we're going to sing. There is a short message from me. It's terrible. It's absolutely horrible. I really didn't record it well at all. But the advantage of that is that things can only get better. So by next week, I should look a little bit less like a rabbit caught in the headlights. There's a set of Holy Week devotions available online for you to download in PDF format. This was written by a group of my friends in South Africa, and I really commend that to you. Meaningful, beautiful devotions that you can read every day starting today. So if you're going to follow that, you might want to head over to the website and download that today. The Presbytery of Gordon will also be posting Holy Week devotions. I did the one for Holy Monday, so I'll be kicking things off tomorrow morning. I don't know where that's going to be, but I'm going to try to patch that across to our website as well so that you can watch them there. Prayers tonight at 7 p.m. will be on the website, posted up there. It's just a prayer that you can share in. It's not something that's, it's not interactive, it's just something you can watch and pray along. We're going to have another study group. We had a study group last Sunday night, only a couple of us doing it, but at least we've figured out the technology and it does work. So if you're interested in joining that study group, please do contact me. I think that's the best thing to do, is email me. You'll get my email details on the website, and I will let you have the link to the study group. That starts at 7:30 p.m. tonight. You would have noticed on our Facebook page, people are taking pictures of their Easter gardens. It's looking lovely, Easter trees, Easter decorations. That's beautiful. Keep those coming. I'm loving it. We're looking at having a coffee morning later this week, probably on Friday or Saturday. You'll see that on the Facebook and online. Don't panic, we're not going to get everybody in the same room for coffee. We're going to figure out a way for you to have your coffee morning alone, but together, and there'll be more details about that, so watch that out. But you might want to start digging out and dusting off your Easter bonnets for the moment, because photographs will be required. And then finally, to say that I'll also be posting some responses that I've had to the 10,000 the places that we're finding Christ at play as we practice our 5 habits. Only a few people have been sending those in, and I really want to encourage you, if you're watching this, to keep a track of the places where you're practicing your 5 habits of highly missional people, and send in to me by email or whatever way you can responses of how you have been practicing those habits, and particularly the places where you've seen God at work in the world. So I think that is all. It's been lovely chatting to you, and enjoy the rest of your day. God bless you all. Bye-bye.